let's truly dive in today. We're exploring a really compelling narrative, one that just pulls you into this world of, well, instinct, ancient prophecies, and these incredibly personal choices people make when they're faced with what feels like destiny.
Mm-hmm.
Now, for our listeners who are, used to us dissecting research papers, sociological studies, maybe you might be a bit surprised by our source material today.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It is. We found this remarkably rich, really detailed fictional story that honestly offers an incredibly vivid blueprint for understanding some pretty universal human dilemmas.
Almost like a case study, really.
Exactly. Think of it as a thrilling, extended case study. We're going to unpack the journey of, a lone rogue, an Alpha Prince, a hidden pregnancy, and a pack that's absolutely desperate to control this ancient, kind of terrifying power.
And it's a fascinating choice for our deep dive, because what it lets us do is explore not just, the literal plot points, but the deep psychological and societal pressures these characters are under.
Right.
And crucially, how they navigate them. This narrative, it gives us this powerful lens to look at themes like autonomy. Specifically, this idea of reclaiming your own body, your personal autonomy.
Yeah, that's huge here.
It is. And familial loyalty, too, and just the sheer courage it takes to defy these really ingrained expectations. It's almost like a masterclass in how these profound internal forces and external ones shape our lives.
And how individuals can, against all odds, kind of forge their own path.
Exactly. It shows that defiance is possible.
Right. So by the end of this deep dive, you'll uncover some surprising resilience, I think, and really appreciate the meaning of family when it's forged under just immense pressure. It's about understanding the nuances of choice when destiny feels, totally predetermined.
Mm-hmm. Finding agency.
Exactly. So are you ready? Ready to plunge into this powerful story and sort of extract its core lessons?
Let's do it. The unforeseen spark, a night of instinct and destiny.
Okay, so our journey kicks off with Kira. She's a character defined by this fierce solitude and an equally fierce resistance. The source calls her a rogue omega,
Right.
which within the story's world means she's an individual wolf shifter, usually female, isolated from a structured pack. Often they have unique vulnerabilities, but also, as we'll definitely see, some surprising strengths.
Yeah, that rogue status is key to understanding her mindset from the start.
Totally.
Well.
So we first meet her padding silently through thick mist and damp underbrush. Her breath is all ragged. And what immediately grabs you, what the narrative points out, are the silvering scars on her bare arms.
Stark visual.
Stark marks of a life spent running, right? A testament to past trauma and this constant fight just to survive. She's driven by this almost desperate desire not to be claimed again.
Right, claims by force or duty, that's crucial.
Exactly. A feeling so strong it actually wars with her own biology. Because even as heat clotted her insides, this primal biological urge she can't ignore, she's whispering this defiant no to herself.
Trying to suppress her body's pull towards this alpha scent that's getting stronger in the woods.
It's an incredible internal conflict.
It really is. This initial picture of Kira, it's profoundly insightful, I think. Her struggle isn't just external, hiding from pursuers. It's this visceral internal battle against her own body, her own biology, all for the sake of self-preservation and autonomy. That whispered no, it's not just rejecting a potential mate in that moment.
No, it's bigger than that.
It's a categorical refusal of past pain, of being controlled, of any future where her agency might be compromised again. The imagery the source uses, the mist, the dampness, those scars, it really highlights her isolation, her hard-won, but still incredibly precarious freedom.
You feel how fragile it is.
You do. Her deep-seated fear of being claimed again, that's a key takeaway right there. It shows how profound trauma can actually override even primal instinct, leading to this deliberate, conscious fight against her own nature.
It's truly harrowing, isn't it? That internal conflict, you can almost feel her desperation. Then the perspective shifts. We meet Ree, our future alpha, and he's navigating his own set of immense pressures, but within the very rigid hierarchy of the Blackthornne pack.
A totally different kind of pressure.
Completely. He's described as seeking space, like he's purposefully left his guards behind because the elders, the pack's governing council, are pushing him relentlessly.
Right, the pressure to choose a mate.
Exactly. To choose a mate from a noble line. And the text tells us the very thought leaves him cold.
Not exactly embracing his duty there.
Not at all. He's clearly not embracing this duty-bound expectation, which immediately sets up this fascinating counterpoint to Kira's fight for autonomy, doesn't it?
Precisely. The tension here is immediately palpable. Ree's world is all about deeply ingrained societal expectations, rigid tradition. He's trying to escape the confines of his royal duty, just for a moment.
And that's when it happens.
That's when he catches Kira's scent. And the narrative describes it as raw, wild, desperate, and pure.
Such a contrast.
A stark contrast to the, quote, delicate perfume of Pac Omegas he's used to. This unexpected scent, it's like a direct challenge to his controlled existence. His wolf, his primal instinctual self, it surges forward before he can even fully process it.
Right, instinct taking over.
Yeah, and this highlights that powerful internal conflict, the push-pull between his duty-bound life and his wolf's undeniable primal pull towards Kira. His internal fight to maintain control, to not let his alpha instinct just take over. It reveals this complex character already at odds with his prescribed role.
He's more than just the title.
Exactly. He's not just a prince. He's an individual grappling with these profound internal and external pressures.
It's that classic conflict, isn't it? Duty versus this overwhelming, almost fated instinct. And despite his efforts to control his wolf, he's just irresistibly drawn to her.
The pull is too strong.
And their first verbal exchange, it's so telling. It captures their immediate, deep-seated tensions perfectly. Kira rasps out, "I don't need an alpha," but then the source immediately tells us she lied.
That single phrase says so much.
It really does. Instantly conveys her desperate pretense. And almost immediately, the narrative mentions the bond crackling between them. It's unmistakable.
Right, that primal connection.
An undeniable primal connection that just transcends their individual resistances, their societal roles. It's this powerful, almost magnetic pull that really hints at destiny, whether they want to acknowledge it or not.
And that crackling bond, that's key. It's fundamental to this world's lore, this deep, often fated connection between shifters. In that moment where Ree asks her, "Tell me to stop," but she physically can't.
Yeah.
That truly underscores the overwhelming nature of this encounter. It's like destiny itself is just asserting its will over their individual fears, their preconceived notions.
It feels bigger than them.
Absolutely. Their climax is described with really evocative language, feeling like the moon itself burned above them, ancient, eternal, binding them in ways neither fully understood.
Wow.
This isn't just portrayed as a physical act. It's like a cosmic event. It hints at something much larger at play, a force connecting them far beyond their conscious choice. This kind of fated encounter, even unplanned, often serves as a catalyst in stories like this, right?
Yeah, forcing characters to confront their deepest fears and desires.
Exactly.
What a description, though, highlighting the sheer, unbridled power of that connection. And yet, after this incredibly intense, undeniably fated moment, what happens at dawn?
She's gone.
Kira vanishes. She's driven by this potent mix of guilt and fear, gathering her clothes frantically, just disappearing into the trees. Leaves Ree stunned, alone.
The fear wins out.
And then back at the Pax border, when his beta, Corin, his loyal second-in-command, asks him point blank, "Did you claim her?" Ree lies.
Even though he feels it.
Even though he can feel the bond faintly tugging at his chest, like this constant, undeniable whisper of her presence, he says no.
In that immediate separation, after such profound connection, it's a central paradox here. Kira's flight isn't a rejection of Ree himself or the connection.
No, it's the fear.
It's that deeply ingrained, almost pathological fear of entrapment, of losing her hard-won freedom, her autonomy. It stems directly from her past trauma. She equates being claimed with losing herself, fundamentally.
Yeah, you can see why.
And Ree's lie to Corin, despite feeling that nascent bond, it underscores his own burgeoning conflict. He's already instinctively protecting Kira.
And the pup, even though he doesn't know yet.
Exactly. Protecting them, even from his own pack. He's already on a path of defiance, even if he doesn't fully comprehend the extent of it yet.
It sets a fascinating precedent for his character arc.
It does. His loyalty is already shifting, moving away from the rigid demands of his pack towards something far more personal, more protective.
So after this intense, fleeting, yet totally fated connection, what do these immediate consequences mean for Kira and Ree, and how will their paths diverge and then inevitably intertwine again?
Well, this is where the implications of that single instinct-driven night really start to unfold in some profound ways. 2, the unfolding truth. A hidden life and a prince's resolve.
Right. So days later, Kira's body, which she so desperately tried to control, starts betraying her again, but in this new, completely unexpected way. She starts experiencing waves of nausea, and her sense of smell becomes heightened, almost unbearable.
The classic sign.
Exactly. And one night, she's crouching by a creek, and she sees her reflection pale and drawn, the text says, and her hand just unconsciously, almost instinctually, cradles her belly. And the realization hits her like a physical blow. It profoundly shifts her entire world. Reese's pup.
That is an undeniable aha moment for Kira, isn't it? And for us reading it, it's this profound internal pivot.
Everything changes.
Everything changes. Before, her entire existence was defined by running from something, the pain of her past, the threat of being claimed, the confines of her own biology even.
Yeah.
Now, with this undeniable realization of new life within her, her focus irrevocably shifts. She's no longer just running from, she is running for someone.
That's a powerful distinction.
It is. Her deep-seated fear begins this powerful transformation into an equally powerful, almost primal maternal resolve. The source describes this fierce, protective spark blooming inside her. And she whispers this quiet, powerful promise to the tiny life she carries. I won't let them hurt you, no matter what.
Wow.
This transforms her flight, doesn't it? From an act of escape into a deliberate, active act of protection. It gives her entire solitary existence this brand new purpose. It's a really powerful narrative thread about how new life can redefine an individual's deepest motivations.
That image the source gives us, her hand on her flat belly, whispering that promise to the moon. It's incredibly poignant, isn't it?
It really is. She's taking on this immense life-altering burden completely alone.
Totally alone. Meanwhile, back at Blackthornne Pack, Ree is facing mounting suspicion and pressure.
They suspect something happened.
Oh, yeah. The elders, particularly Elder Marius, described with a voice like cracked granite, which just screams rigid authority. They question him directly.
No subtlety there.
None. Marius doesn't mince words. Rumors reached us of a lone Omega near the East Woods. Did you see her? And another council member warns with this chilling gravity about protecting the bloodline.
The bloodline. Always the bloodline.
And the severe risk, as they see it, of a rogue bearing the future Alpha's pup. This just immediately reveals the patriarchal, intensely controlling nature of their society, doesn't it?
Absolutely. This section powerfully highlights the oppressive weight of pack duty. Those deeply entrenched ancient traditions bearing down on Ree. His jaw tight and his cold responses to the elders, they reveal his intense internal battle against their demands.
He's pushing back silently.
He is. He's already instinctively protecting Kira and the pup, even in their absence, just by denying the encounter. And the council's relentless obsession with bloodline and control, it exposes the rigid, almost tyrannical nature of their power structure, where the individual, even the future Alpha, is secondary to the perceived purity and power of the pack. Their fear of an untamed bloodline, this external threat, it's so evident. It's a classic power dynamic, isn't it? Where control is prioritized above absolutely everything else.
Even empathy.
Even basic wolf empathy, yeah.
And the stakes just get exponentially higher because the elders summon Ree again. And this time it's not just questions. They come at him with the chilling ancient prophecy.
Oh boy. Here we go.
Right. They tell him, a child of the untethered moon and royal blood shall bring the old power to rise again, blessing or ruin. And of course, they're convinced that child is undeniably his.
Of course they are. Ruin, probably, in their eyes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Their demand is stark, brutal, absolute. Bring Kira to them or destroy what grows within her.
Totally.
It's the ultimate test of his loyalty, isn't it? To his pack or to his conscience.
And this really raises that important question, doesn't it? Is the prophecy genuinely about destruction, or is it really a deep-seated fear on the elders' part? Fear of a power they simply cannot control or comprehend.
Right. Power outside their structure.
Exactly. Their immediate leap to destroy what grows within her. It speaks volumes about their desperate need for absolute control, their fear of the unknown. They perceive anything outside their established order as a threat, something to be eradicated.
And this becomes the definitive moment of defiance for Ree.
It has to be.
The narrative tells us his fists clenched, and he declares, with this unwavering conviction, I will not harm my own child.
Yes.
This is it. A definitive, courageous break from blind obedience to the council to the rigid traditions he was born into. He's choosing his own nascent family, a family formed through instinct and this profound connection over his deeply ingrained pack duty.
It's a remarkable act of self-determination, defying centuries of tradition in a single powerful declaration.
It's a monumental turning point for him, isn't it? He's actively putting his personal values, his emerging paternal instincts above his inherited position, above the expectations of his entire society. And you can clearly see the implications of a prophecy like that in any power structure, right? How fear of the unknown or anything that threatens the established order so often leads to these destructive measures.
Oh, absolutely. It's a classic example. Institutions reacting violently to perceived threats to their control, rather than seeking understanding or integration. And Ree's choice here is such a profound counter-narrative to that fear.
Because they see ruin.
They interpret the pup's potential power as ruin because it's unpredictable, uncontrollable. It's an element, a source of power that doesn't fit into their existing rigid framework. And Ree, by choosing to protect that power, even when it's unknown and potentially dangerous, he's demonstrating a far greater vision, a greater capacity for leadership than the elders themselves.
That's a great point.
He embodies a kind of progressive thought, really, willing to embrace the unknown for the sake of love and family.
So, with Ree now actively defying his elders, and Kira embracing this new, fiercely protective maternal instinct, how do their paths begin to inevitably intercept once more? And what profound dangers does Kira still face on her solitary journey, especially now that she's carrying a child of prophecy, a child whose very existence threatens the entire established order?
The stakes are definitely higher now. 3, a journey of solitude and subtle connection. Kira's flight and the whispers of the bond.
Okay, so Kira's perilous journey continues. It's marked by restless travel. She's still living this life of hiding by day and moving by night, constantly skirting villages and human farms.
Just staying off the radar.
Completely. The source tells us her pregnancy isn't visibly showing yet, which helps maintain her stealth, but it's a constant whisper under her ribs. This subtle, undeniable presence that defines her every action now. Her external reality remains one of immense danger and profound isolation, and it's exacerbated by her growing physical needs.
Right, because despite that pivotal internal shift towards maternal resolve, her external world is still one of constant peril. She's still a rogue, still on the run, facing the perpetual threat of discovery, hunger, exposure.
It's relentless.
It is. Her resourcefulness is paramount to her survival. The narrative describes her trading a broken silver chain for basic necessities, like bread and dried apples.
Wow, just basics.
It powerfully highlights just how precarious, how desperate her existence is. She's not just a fugitive, she's really an embodiment of grit and determination. And you also see that stark contrast, right? Between the fleeting, almost normal smell of roasted chestnuts in wet earth in a town like Windmere, signifying community, warmth, and her own solitary, desperate reality.
Yeah, it really underscores the sacrifices she's making for this unborn child. Her life is just this stark, lonely existence, relying solely on her wits and this unwavering will. And then she encounters a new, chilling layer of threat. A rogue wolf, described as a lean man with sharp cheekbones and a sly grin, approaches her, and it's immediately clear he knows more than he should.
Not good.
No. He warns her with this unsettling casualness that Blackthornne pack is sniffing around looking for someone. And then he specifies with chilling accuracy an Omega rogue, pregnant maybe.
Oh, that confirms her worst fears.
Totally. The pack's reach is long, their intelligence network disturbingly effective.
And this encounter, it dramatically externalizes the threat, doesn't it? It shows the Blackthornne pack's intelligence networks are vast. Their determination to find her is unwavering. This rogue, even though he's not directly part of their pack, he serves as this chilling messenger.
Reinforcing her fear.
Reinforcing Kira's deep-seated fear of being found and, more importantly, controlled. His chilling warning, "Run fast, little bird," it just underscores the immediate, escalating danger she's in.
It's you chills.
It does. But what's equally interesting, I think, is Kira's instinctual reaction here. Her wolf, her inner primal self, is described as rising just enough to warn him.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It showcases her latent power, her fiercely protective instinct. It's a quiet but potent hint of the formidable strength that lies beneath her vulnerability. She's not just a passive victim running away.
No, she has fight in her.
She has an innate capacity for defense, definitely.
She's not merely surviving. There's this quiet strength, this force of nature stirring within her, mirrored by the life she carries. Meanwhile, Ree, he's experiencing his own internal torment, but also this persistent drive.
The bond.
Yeah, he's having restless sleep, but for the first time in weeks, the source says, a strange warmth blooms in his chest as the bond, that unbreakable, fated connection from their single night flares. Brief, but certain.
He knows.
He immediately senses that Kira and the pup are alive. This isn't just a hope, it's an absolute certainty for him now. And so he dedicates each morning at the forest edge, driven by this faint, silvery thread of the bond, sensing her close.
Wow, he's really committed.
Totally. His loyal beta, Corin, observes him wearing himself out, which is a clear sign of his relentless, almost obsessive pursuit.
And this section really demonstrates Ree's unwavering commitment, doesn't it? Even in Kira's physical absence. His loyalty to them is described as being to them and to her both.
Which is revolutionary for their world.
It's a profoundly novel concept. It fundamentally challenges traditional pack structures, where loyalty is typically singular, absolute, directed towards the alpha or the pack itself.
Right.
And Corin's practical warning, the elders are growing restless. They sense your loyalty is divided. That clearly sets up the intense future conflict Ree is going to inevitably face.
No question.
But Ree's internal snarl, described in the text, step aside. Never. She was his. It just reinforces his deep-seated determination. And that growing possessiveness, it's rooted not in dominance, but in this fierce desire to protect.
Yeah, it's different.
The bond, even faint, it's like this stubborn, unbreakable promise that refuses to fade. It's serving as his unwavering compass.
It's truly incredible, isn't it? That invisible bond, almost a supernatural tether, just keeps pulling him towards them even as the world conspires to keep them apart.
It's a powerful force.
So, with the pack's net closing in, their sense is sharpened by the prophecy, and Ree so determined to find her. How does this fragile, distant connection finally lead to their inevitable reunion? And what does that mean for a family that's been living entirely on the run, completely on the margins of their society?
That reunion is going to be intense. Yeah. 3, a fragile truce and the building of trust. From running to facing together.
And the moment of reunion, both longed for and, probably dreaded by Kira, finally arrives. It happens in the market town of Thornwell. Ree tracks Kira there, which is a testament to the persistent pull of their bond.
He found her.
He finds her, recognizes her instantly, not just by sight, but by that unconscious, deeply protective gesture, her hand resting gently on her belly.
The giveaway.
He calls her name. And she, despite her profound shock, her ingrained fear, she turns. He gently but firmly confirms what they both kind of know already, this moment of undeniable truth. The pup. It's mine, isn't it?
Confronting it head on.
Yeah. Kira confirms it, tears threatening, apparently, and this wave of just overwhelming relief washes over Ree.
You can imagine, it's a powerful, cathartic moment of reconnection. That very bond that drew them together in that primal, instinctual encounter. Now it irrevocably binds them through their shared child.
No escaping it now.
No. But Kira's continued wariness, her ingrained instinct to try and run again, despite the bond's pull, it's palpable. Her deep-seated fear of the elders, what they might do control, harms, it's still very much active.
Oh, absolutely.
But Ree's fierce promise, you don't know what I'm capable of when it comes to you, that truly showcases his rapidly emerging protective alpha role.
It's a declaration.
It is. And crucially, this isn't about claiming her for the pack or asserting dominance in the old way. It's about a deeply personal commitment to protect them. Kira and the pup specifically. It distinguishes his leadership from the pack's tyrannical control.
He's defining alpha on his own terms.
Exactly. Loyalty through protection, not possession.
Right. It's a fundamental shift in his understanding of what it means to be an alpha. He's not trying to dominate her. He's trying to shield her, create a safe space, and he proves his commitment.
He follows through.
2 days later, he finds Kira again. Relentless in his pursuit, guided by that silver thread of the bond. She tries, almost out of habit maybe, to push him away. I told you to stay away, she murmurs.
Still fighting it.
But he counters with that beautiful, insightful line. You don't truly want me to.
Ooh, he sees right through her.
He does. And then he proposes this radically new path, this defiant compromise. Stay near enough that I can protect you, far enough that the elders can't touch you.
Wow. That's a plan. A risky one.
Totally risky. Kira, after a moment of heavy silence, you can imagine her weighing the fear against this profound, maybe unacknowledged need, agrees to a fragile truce. He can follow, but keep your distance.
Keep your distance. Okay. This negotiation, this fragile truce, it's such a critical turning point. The relationship shifts, doesn't it? From purely instinctual, fleeting encounter to this tentative, fragile partnership.
Based on need.
Based on a shared, profound need. The safety and survival of their child. It's a direct act of defiance against the pack's expectations. And the description of the hunter's lodge they find for shelter.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Moss grew thick on its stone walls. Wind rattled the shutters. It starkly contrasts with Blackthornne's grand, imposing halls. This simple, isolated lodge, it symbolizes their intentional separation from the old world.
And the building of something new.
Exactly, the building of a new, unconventional family unit forged by choice, not tradition. It represents an act of defiance through creation, a deliberate choice to build a life outside established norms.
It absolutely is. And within the stark, quiet walls of this isolated lodge, something even more profound starts to happen. They start to build genuine intimacy, trust.
Slowly, carefully.
Very slowly. They progress from tense silence to brief, hesitant conversations, then to longer, more open talks by the hearth. Ree, with a lot of patience, begins to ask Kira about her past.
Opening up that door.
and she hesitantly, vulnerably shares stories. Moonlit feasts from her youth, a stern but fair father, a mother who smelled of lavender and hope, and then the painful, raw truth.
The trauma.
Her pack's downfall, the betrayal that led to it, her mother's tragic death, and her own father casting her out when she refused an arranged mate. This is the origin story of her profound trauma.
And Kira sharing that vulnerable past, that is a monumental step in building trust between them. It's an act of profound intimacy, revealing the deepest layers of her trauma, her personal history.
Letting him in.
She's actively choosing to expose why she fears being claimed, why she fled, why autonomy is so fiercely important to her. This revelation, it doesn't just answer the why behind her initial flight, it allows Ree to understand the true depth of her ingrained fear of entrapment.
Yeah, he gets it now.
And then, as their connection deepens, the culmination of this growing trust, this shared vulnerability arrives. The pup kicks for the first time.
Oh, wow.
Ree's hand moves instinctively to her belly, drawn by that invisible bond, and he feels it a flutter strong and undeniable. His awe-filled whisper, "She's real."
Goosebumps.
And Kira's powerful affirmation, "And so are we." It solidifies not just their parental bond, but crucially, their shared future as a family.
Yes.
Forged by choice and shared experience, not by decree. It's a moment of profound recognition of their collective identity.
That moment when he feels that kick, it's not just the pup becoming real to him, is it? It's they as a family unit becoming irrevocably real.
Yeah.
It's truly beautiful.
Solidifies everything.
So as their bond deepens and the threat from the elders looms a threat now intensified by the prophecy, what happens when the very power the elders fear begins to stir, not just within the child, but around them, manifesting in the physical world?
Things are about to get very real, very quickly.
Hey.
The awakening. Power, prophecy, and an inevitable confrontation.
Right. The moment the prophecy manifests, it arrives with this dramatic, almost elemental force. A sudden, violent storm descends on the isolated lodge, mirroring the tumultuous events unfolding within.
Nature reflecting the internal turmoil. Classic.
Totally. The source vividly describes the fire in the hearth flaring with this unnatural, ethereal glow turning blue and white.
Whoa. Not normal fire.
Not at all. Kira gasps, clutching her belly, her words a mix of fear and awe. Something's wrong, she's angry, afraid, and everything's changing.
The pup's emotions.
Seems like it. And Ree, standing steadfast by her side, feels the weight of ancient power stirring profoundly around them, a palpable, vibrating force that shakes the very foundations of their secluded existence.
This is it. The concrete, undeniable manifestation of the prophecy. It validates the elders' fears, yes, but more importantly, it reveals the pup's truly extraordinary nature.
It changes everything.
It transforms the entire conflict from a simple hunt for a rogue into this deeply personal, elemental struggle. And Ree's response in this moment, it's incredibly telling. He doesn't recoil in fear or alarm.
No. What does he do?
Instead, he whispers, awe-filled, "She's powerful, beautiful, just like her mother."
Oh.
It highlights this profound connection he sees between Kira's inner strength, her resilience, and her daughter's burgeoning, untamed power. He sees beauty and promise where the elders see only a destructive threat.
That shows how much he's changed.
It reveals his own evolved understanding of power, doesn't it? One rooted in love and connection, rather than control and fear. And this scene also foreshadows the pup's active role in their defense later on.
Okay. And as soon as that immense power stirs in the wild, Elder Marius, back at Blackthornne, with his cold, unyielding certainty, he senses it immediately.
Of course he does. Probably feels it like a shockwave.
Exactly. Senses the shift, the ripples of newly awakened power across the land. He declares with chilling finality, the child lives and her power has awakened. They quickly decide they must act before that power is beyond our reach.
No hesitation. Act now. Control it.
Right. Corin, Ree's loyal beta, confirms with a grim tone that the elders haven't just sent real hunters this time, but even more ominously, a seer.
Oh, a seer. That changes the game completely.
Oh, so?
Well, the seer's involvement signifies a dramatic and terrifying escalation of the threat. A seer within this world possesses the ability to perceive and manipulate spiritual, magical energies.
Okay.
This means the pack is now targeting the pup's power directly, not just Kira's physical existence or location. A seer can track the pup's surging power, essentially negating any advantage Kira and Ree gained by hiding.
So they can't hide anymore.
Exactly. This raises the stakes dramatically. It moves beyond a simple physical hunt to a direct spiritual and magical assault, an attempt to bind or destroy the very essence of the child's unique power. It's a tactical move designed to strip away their last advantage.
The game has indeed fundamentally changed. Their hiding place is no longer secure. And in response, Kira and Ree arrive at this crucial, desperate realization. Running won't matter if they've tracked the bond through the seer.
Nowhere left to run that they won't be found.
Right. And it's Kira who, with this astonishing surge of courage and resolve, voices the crucial decision. She suggests, stop running, let them come, we fight.
Wow. From running her whole life to making a stand?
Exactly. Ree, after maybe a fleeting moment of hesitation, probably weighing the immense odds, agrees. His resolve, now firm, hardened by his love and commitment.
And this decision is such a pivotal turning point, moving them from passive flight, which has defined Kira's life, to active defiance.
So it's conscious choice.
It symbolizes their joint commitment, not only to each other and their unborn child, but to their inherent right to exist outside the pack's control, to define their own destiny. It's an act of profound courage, self-determination.
Yeah.
The narrative's description of their grim preparations, blankets, smoked meat, the last of the bread and Reese's dagger, and their strategic decision to head to an old watchtower as their defensible stand. It speaks volumes about their grim determination, the stark reality of what they face.
They're not running anymore.
They are no longer simply reacting to events. They're choosing their battleground, embracing their fate, preparing to make a stand for their future. This shift from flight to fight, it's a core theme in narratives about oppressed groups reclaiming agency, isn't it?
Absolutely. So the stage is now set for this inevitable confrontation. As night falls and the hunters, led by a seer, close in, what happens when this small, defiant family faces the full force of ancient power, rigid tradition, and these just immense odds against them?
It's going to be a defining battle.
Okay.
6. The clash at the watchtower.
Yeah.
A family forged in fire.
Okay, the siege begins just after midnight. A chilling, primal confrontation under the cover of darkness. The howl of Ree's own kin, the Blackthornne pack, echoes across the ancient stones of the watchtower, led by Marius himself.
Facing his own people, his own uncle, essentially.
Yeah. Corin, watching through a cracked arrow slit, delivers the grim report. Marius and the seer are present. The seer is hooded, chanting under her breath, actively calling to the pup, trying to spiritually bind or coerce its power.
A direct psychic attack.
Exactly. Kira immediately feels the seer's insidious presence, describing it as crawling inside my mind, a terrifying psychic assault.
And the seer here, she represents the most direct, the most dangerous assault on their internal fortitude and on the pup's nascent power. It elevates this confrontation far beyond just a physical battle.
Right, it's psychological, magical.
It's a psychological and magical war for the very essence of the unborn child. Ree's immediate command to Kira, ignore her, Kira. She can't touch you if you don't let her. It highlights his role, doesn't it? Protector, anchor.
Trying to shield her.
Trying to shield her from this potent psychic attack. He's teaching her, in that moment, to resist the violation of her mental and spiritual space. A crucial lesson for someone who's experienced past trauma and control.
But Kira, despite her fear, despite the overwhelming psychic invasion, she isn't backing down, is she?
Not this time.
When Ree, probably out of instinct just to protect her from the front lines, initially instructs her to stay back, she defiantly declares with incredible resolve, I'm not hiding. If they come for her, I won't let them take her. Yes, that's the moment.
It is. This is an undeniable aha moment for the listener, I think. Showcasing Kira's unexpected fierce strength, this primal maternal protectiveness, just overriding any fear. Her eyes flash gold, a sign of her own burgeoning power, and then the pup's power flares. A raw, untamed burst of energy, and it directly disrupts the seer's binding chant and physically staggers the approaching hunters.
Wow. So the pup fights back. This moment utterly shatters that passive omega stereotype. Kira is not merely a recipient of protection, she is an active participant, a co-defender.
A warrior mother.
Exactly. And the pup, even unborn, is an active agent in their defense, not just some passive target. The seer's visible flinch, her chant breaking, hunter stumbling from an invisible force. It powerfully demonstrates the sheer, raw, untamed power of this unborn child.
And its connection to Kira. And its direct, symbiotic connection to Kira's fierce maternal protectiveness. It's a combined force, really. Both Kira and the pup contributing to the disruption. A testament to the power of their united will, their bond. This scene vividly illustrates how inherent power, when coupled with a fierce will, can defy even the most ancient, potent forms of control.
It's an incredible display of unharnessed power, a pure, unadulterated force of will. And Ree, ever the astute alpha, seeing the opening created by Kira's power,
He seizes the moment.
Immediately takes decisive strategic action. He attacks the seer, recognizing her as the central threat, driving his dagger into her side. The psychic pressure on the bond snaps. The immediate threat is momentarily broken.
Takes out the key player.
Right. Corin, ever loyal, ever efficient, dispatches the last remaining hunter. Marius, however, the rigid elder, manages to escape into the falling snow. A lingering threat on the horizon.
He gets away. Damn. But the swiftness and coordination of that battle, it highlights their combined strength, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
Kira's spiritual and internal power, manifesting externally. Ree's physical prowess and tactical acumen, and Corin's unwavering loyalty. Ree's strategic focus on the seer as the real threat shows his understanding of the deeper, magical, spiritual conflict at play, not just the physical one.
He knew who to target.
He did. And the quiet aftermath, for a single heartbeat silence claimed the marsh, it underscores the immense intensity of what they've just survived. A moment of profound reprieve, and Kira's physical toll, whispering, "You use too much power." It felt like the marsh answered me. That hints at the unique, elemental nature of her connection to this burgeoning power.
Like she's connected to the land itself.
Suggesting a resonance with the very land itself. It wasn't just a fight, it was like an ancient force answering their call.
So they've survived the immediate direct threat. But the path ahead, it remains uncertain, doesn't it? Marius escaped. The Blackthornne pack, steeped in tradition, fearful of prophecy, they aren't likely to just give up their pursuit of what they see as a threat to their very existence.
No, this fight isn't truly over yet.
What does this hard-won victory mean for their future? And how will they truly break free from the long, oppressive shadow of Blackthornne?
That's the next big question. 7. Exile and emergence. The birth of Aara and a new path.
Right, so in the raw aftermath of the Watchtower battle, amidst the fallen snow, the quiet of the marsh, Ree, Kira, and Corin share this grim acknowledgement: Marius escaped. And the Blackthornne Council will certainly deem this entire incident as an act of unforgivable treason.
There's no going back now.
No. But Kira, having endured a lifetime of running, she reaffirms her newfound conviction with this unwavering strength. Then let's stop. Let them come. We fight.
She's done running.
This isn't just a tactical decision anymore. It's a conscious, profound act of defiance, choosing their own path despite the immense, potentially fatal consequences.
And their decision for exile, it's really a foundational act of self-determination, isn't it?
Yeah.
They are actively choosing to sever ties with the life, the expectations, the rigid traditions that have bound them.
Making a clean break.
They are prioritizing their nascent family, their freedom, their shared future above everything else. And Corin's immediate, unwavering choice to pledge his loyalty to Ree and join their exile. That's also deeply significant.
It shows loyalty isn't just pack structure.
Exactly. It highlights a powerful theme. That true loyalty can transcend traditional bloodlines, established power structures. Allegiance shifts from the rigid pack elders to a true alpha leader who prioritizes love, protection, a vision of a different future.
A leader worth following.
Right. And the simple cairns of stone they leave for the fallen hunters, in stark contrast to formal pack burial traditions that further emphasizes their conscious break from the old ways.
Yeah.
The establishment of their own new moral code. They're quite literally building their own new traditions from the ground up.
Absolutely. They're not just breaking free. They're symbolically and then literally constructing a new reality. But the conflict, it isn't truly over until they face Marius again, the embodiment of the old order.
The final showdown.
Days later, at another abandoned hunting lodge, Marius and his remaining forces finally confront them. Marius, desperate to reassert control, demands Ree's loyalty and, chillingly, Kira's death, trying to enforce the ancient laws one last time.
Doubling down.
But Ree defiantly declares, with powerful conviction, "I call myself father and mate," explicitly choosing love and family over the perceived exile and conformity Marius demands.
That's his ultimate declaration.
It is. This is the ultimate climax of the story, where fundamentally different value systems just clash head-on. Ree's choice is explicit, profound, unwavering. His new family, born of love and defiance, is his true pack, his absolute priority.
And what's truly fascinating here, and a critical insight into the narrative's depth, is Marius' internal conflict, his eventual reluctant concession.
He actually hesitates.
He does. Despite his rigid authority, his unwavering belief in tradition, he hesitates. His words, "What good is power, Ree, if it destroys what we were meant to protect?" That shows a fleeting but powerful glimpse of humanity beneath his unyielding authority.
Wow, a crack in the facade.
It suggests he's momentarily confronted with the limitations of a power structure built solely on control and fear. He acknowledges the pup's power, but it's ultimately a golden wave of power from the pup herself, spontaneous, undeniable, that throws hunters back and convinces Marius to finally relent.
But the pup intervenes again.
Yeah, it's an aha moment where perhaps even Marius begins to see the prophecy not as an unequivocal curse, but as something else entirely, a force that demands a reevaluation of his rigid world. This small crack opens the door for potential future change within Blackthornne itself.
And as Marius and his forces reluctantly withdraw, a moment of profound relief gives way to a new cry.
Oh, the birth.
Kira cries out, and in that cold dawn, the ultimate act of creation and defiance of destruction unfolds. Aara is born. Her cry is described as loud, strong, defiant, a powerful confirmation of her unique spirit.
Born right after the battle. Incredible.
And her name, Aara, means hope chosen, because as Kira explains in this moment of tender vulnerability, she was born despite everything. She is hope.
Wow. That's beautiful. The birth itself is a physical, undeniable manifestation of their choices, isn't it? A powerful, defiant act that overrides destruction and fear.
A new beginning.
It's a moment of profound joy, resilience, a living testament to their love. The narrative's careful description of Aara's pale gold flecked with darker amber eyes. It hints at her unique power, her mixed heritage, linking her to both Kira's rogue lineage and Ree's royal bloodline.
She embodies both sides.
She is, quite literally, the living embodiment of their love and defiance, a physical representation of their future beyond prophecy. Her birth signals a true beginning, not just an ending to their flight.
So with Aara now in their arms, this living symbol of their love and defiance, the focus of the narrative shifts beautifully, doesn't it? From mere survival to truly building a life outside the shadows of the past.
Yes, what does that future look like for them? Free from ancient prophecies, free from pack strictures. 8, building a future, love, home, and defying prophecy.
Right. So after 3 days of rest, recovery, they leave the abandoned lodge. They make a conscious choice to head south, specifically beyond Blackthornne's direct reach, getting away.
Putting distance between them and the past.
Exactly. They find this wide valley below dotted with dark trees and a stream, and here, they don't just survive, they truly build.
Putting down roots?
Yeah. They start with a rough shelter, and then with their own hands, their own determination, they construct a cabin. And the source makes this clear. It's a poignant detail. It wasn't grand, but it was theirs.
Their own space. Earned.
This simple structure is such a profound symbol of their new, self-determined life.
It really is. This is the ultimate so what of their entire journey, isn't it? A powerful culmination of their choices. It's not about reclaiming a lost title or territory. It's about actively constructing their own reality.
A home built on their terms.
Founded on love and choice. That simple, humble cabin. It's a direct, intentional contrast to the grand, imposing stone halls of Blackthornne. It powerfully emphasizes their new values.
Yeah, substance over style.
It's a physical manifestation of their autonomy, their chosen path. It illustrates that true wealth lies not in power or material possessions, but in self-sufficiency, genuine connection, and the peaceful details woven into the description of their new life.
Like what?
The stream sang low through frostbitten reeds. Aara took her first steps on muddy grass. Corin carved a small wooden wolf for the child.
Ah, that's lovely.
It illustrates the quiet, profound joy and domesticity of this new, self-determined existence. It's a powerful testament to the possibility of forging a new way of life when you reject old oppressions.
It's a beautiful, hard-won vision of domesticity, peace. And central to this new life is the crucial task of raising Aara, shaping her future, especially given her unique heritage, her burgeoning power.
That's a big responsibility.
Huge. They have these deep, conscious discussions about how to navigate her abilities. Kira, with her lived experience of the wild, wisely states, she'll have to learn to hide her power and to fight basic survival.
Makes sense.
But then Kira adds this crucial, compassionate nuance born from her own struggles. And I'll teach her to forgive, so power doesn't turn her heart hard.
Wow, that's profound. A counter-narrative to the Elder's fear.
Exactly. They both agree to tell Aara the complete truth as she grows. Her mother was a rogue, her father an exiled prince, and that together they chose love over fear.
And this truly highlights conscious parenting, doesn't it? A deliberate, proactive effort to break the cycles of fear, control, prejudice that define their past.
Teaching her differently.
They're preparing Aara not just for survival in a potentially dangerous world, but for a balanced, ethical, compassionate use of her unique power. That dual promise, Ree teaching her to fight to protect herself, and Kira teaching her to forgive. It creates this holistic approach.
Strength and compassion.
Ensuring her power serves love, empathy, protection. Not vengeance or tyranny, This is precisely how they actively defy the ruin aspect of the prophecy. They teach her to wield her power with compassion, transforming a potential curse into a profound blessing. They are actively shaping the prophecy to their own will through their choices and values.
And just when you think they're finally truly safe, isolated in their valley, there's this unexpected, deeply impactful visit.
Oh no, not again.
4 armed men from Blackthornne appear, sent by the council, and initially, it signals a renewed threat.
Here we go again.
But their leader reveals this surprising, almost shocking shift in perspective back at the pack. He admits some see the child's survival as a sign, not a curse.
What?
Yeah. And then a truly poignant moment, offering this glimpse of shared humanity. I've lost a child too, Prince. I came to see, not to kill.
Whoa. That's unexpected.
He then makes this profound promise to leave them alone.
Wow. That is a crucial, truly validating moment for their choices. It suggests that truth, empathy, the undeniable power born of love, it can indeed shift rigid perspectives, even within powerful, deeply traditional, previously unyielding institutions.
Change is possible.
The leader's empathy, rooted in his own personal loss, that's an aha moment for the listener, showing a significant crack in the council's monolithic front. It reveals that personal experience, compassion can override dogma and fear, creating an unexpected bridge between the old world and the new.
Yeah.
His poignant closing words, "Power born of love may save us yet," they're incredibly powerful, acknowledging that the very thing the elders feared might in fact be their salvation, their path to renewal.
Yeah.
It implies this slow but significant paradigm shift within the Blackthornne pack itself.
Influenced by Ree's courage.
Influenced by Ree's courageous defiance, absolutely.
Yep. It's such a powerful affirmation that their choices weren't in vain. That defiance born of love can genuinely change the world around them. So they stay in their peaceful valley. Aara grows, thriving in their unique, unconventional family unit. They reaffirm their commitment to each other, their new life. We're more than survived. We're alive.
A crucial distinction.
And they've built something unbreakable, a family.
And the ultimate message here is crystal clear, isn't it? Their greatest achievement isn't power, or reclaiming a lost title, or even fulfilling a prophecy in the traditional sense.
No.
It's forging a resilient family unit based on conscious choice, profound love, unwavering courage. That concluding image of them under a sky paling into gentle morning, walking towards a future built not on fear but on love, it just beautifully encapsulates the profound transformation they've undergone.
Yeah.
They chose love, they chose connection, and in doing so, they created their own destiny. Free from the old prophecies, free from the rigid constraints of the past. It's a powerful reminder that true freedom often lies in building your own definition of family and home.
What a journey we've unpacked today, haven't we? Just wow. From an instinctual, fated connection to actively defying ancient prophecies' rigid societal structures, Kira and Ree's story is such a powerful testament to the transformative choices we make when faced with overwhelming pressures.
Mm-hmm.
It highlights how love, how self-determination can carve out an entirely new, fulfilling path.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, it really underscores how individuals, even though they seem powerless, constrained by destiny maybe, they can reshape their futures.
Oh.
By prioritizing deeply personal values like love, loyalty, the unwavering protection of those they care about, above all else. It's a reminder that true strength often lies not in control or dominion,
No.
but in the courage to choose compassion and connection.
Yeah.
To rewrite your own narrative against the backdrop of seemingly predetermined fate.
So thinking about all this, what does it mean for you, listening right now in your own life? What prophecies, whether they're societal expectations, ingrained family legacies, the weight of tradition, or maybe even just old habits, what prophecies do you feel bound by?
Good question.
And what might it truly look like to make a different choice? To actively choose your own path, guided by courage and the profound, transformative power of love, just like Kira and Ree. Something to think about.